All right, howdy from wonderful, windy Wyoming. Glad to have you here with me. And so we're going to talk today about developing the schedule. We're going to go ahead and move on to part three. So we've talked about part one and the different parts that need to go into the schedule and how, making sure that we get the important things in. Part two is talking about the helpers. How do we work helpers into the schedule? And today we're going to talk about making our schedule fluid to make sure that we're moving along and there's not a lot of downtime within the schedule, and that we keep the attention of our children. So we're going to look at Acts chapter 2, verse number 2 for a jumping off point. It says, "And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship and in breaking of bread and in prayers." And so that's what we come to church to do, to continue in the things which the Lord left us. And we want to have a well planned out class. And part of that is to help with behavioral issues. There'll always be behavioral issues in class, no matter what we do to set it up. That's just the nature of things. But by having a schedule that's well planned and where there's not a lot of downtime, we can minimize some of the behavior issues. A lot of time behavior issues come up because we haven't thought far enough ahead and we're not really planned, or we're overly boring. And so there's a couple things we can do to help with that. So when we put together a schedule, we want to make sure that we're breaking the schedule up and doing lots of different things. We talked about that a little bit in the first lesson. We don't want to spend too long on one thing. We want to, be over here for 5 minutes and then come over here for 2 minutes and then be over there for another 3 minutes and then let's look at this for another 2 minutes. And so we're breaking our time up and doing multiple different activities to keep it fun. And so we want to make sure we do that. But when we do that, and especially when we're using helpers, we have to make sure we have good flow. We want to be able to go from one activity to another seamless. I have to tell my helpers, go ahead and at this point you need to start coming up front and stand right next to me, so that as soon as I'm done with what I'm doing, you can jump right in and start your song, or you can jump right in and start the memory verse. And so we want that to be planned out well, and everybody to know when things are going to happen. So I make up an actual paper schedule, and it has the different components of each class, and each week I print one of those out and I give them to each of those that are helping teach. And so they each get part of the schedule, and then we help them to know what's happening next so they can be prepared. And so what I find is if we take too long in those transitions, it gives them a chance to act out. The next thing that we want to do is as we go through these different parts, we want to be excited about what we're teaching, what we're doing. And so if we get up and we're enthusiastic and excited and we're moving from one thing to the next and having a good time, the children will have fun as well. And so our attitude can have a lot to do with how our class is received and how much fun the children are having too. And so we want to make sure that we are having a good time and that we're helping the children to have a good time as well. If you don't have fun at church, children won't come back. That's just how that works. Children want to have fun. We can have fun and learn the Word of God. We can have fun and make important decisions. But it is important that we do have fun in the class. So we want to make sure that class is fun, that it's well scheduled, and that we move from section to section in a very timely manner so that we don't leave time for the children to act out and to goof off. And I think what we'll find is when we are able to accomplish that and accomplish it well, that our class will work very smoothly and we'll have a great impact. And what hopefully happens is the children want to come back. What I found is that when the children want to come back, often families come back. And if the children come and they don't have a lot of fun and they don't really enjoy it, next week they're not going to want to come back, and it makes it really hard for the parents to come back. So we can really affect whether or not a family comes back by how good of a program that we run. And so I encourage us to take some time, go ahead and write out a schedule and put all that together. I actually have mine. Oh, no, David stole it. Okay, I don't have mine with me this morning. Maybe I can put a link somehow to that to show you kind of what we use for a schedule on a weekly basis that helps us to work through that. So thanks for joining us. If you like this, subscribe or go ahead and leave me comments. Always love to see comments on what you might think or other suggestions you may have. And so with that, have a great day, and Lord willing, we'll see you next time.